All right, and so finally, for the muscular system, we'll be looking at the lower body muscles, looking at the muscles of the hips and the upper leg or the thigh, and then the lower leg, or just the leg is what the lower leg is technically called. And so we'll look at these now. You have some that are just thigh movers, and these actually just move the whole thigh. And so by default, moving the leg as well. And so there are a couple that I want to mention here. Actually, let's start. Yeah, these are thigh movers. And so there are the glutes, the gluteus maximus, and the gluteus medius, and then over here, the gluteus minimus. And their job is to abduct. And so they move the thighs away from the middle and they rotate the thigh. Very important in sitting up, in like sitting upright and then standing up and walking, particularly the medius and walking. Very important, keeping your walking and keeping you like balanced and that sort of thing. So these muscles are very strong. I think the gluteus maximus is the largest by volume muscle in the body. Some more thigh movers are these here in the front of the thigh. There's the iliopsoas, and it is appears there. It is iliopsoas. Ilio connects to the ilium, and then the psoas, and then so the iliopsoas is a thigh flexor. It is the prime mover of picking your thigh up. And so think of like raising your knee up towards your chest. That is what is doing that. You also have the sartorius, which is the longest muscle in the body, actually, the sartorius. And it is also bringing your thigh up and rotating your leg inward. You can see how if that flexed, it would bring your knee up and inward. And then there's the tensor fascia latae. It's not latte, it's just lata. And it can do the opposite of that. You can see it here, but these muscles are all working to pick the leg up. And then there's the quads, and you've all heard of the quads before. That's the front of your thigh, and they work to extend the lower leg, and they also help to flex your thigh at the hip. And so the quads are as follows. The first is the rectus femoris. This is this big one that is in front. And then you see, it's the back. All right. So then there's the vastus lateralis, and this is actually the largest of the thigh or the quads. The vastus medialis here, and then the vastus intermedialis, which is kind of in between them, hence the intermedius. And these four muscles, collectively known as the quads, extend your leg and flex your thigh at the hip. All right, and then let's look here at the back of your leg at the hamstrings. And so here are the hamstrings. This is the back of your thigh, and their job is to flex the leg. And so the largest of these is the biceps femoris. Here, think biceps, femur. It's like it flexes your lower leg. Big muscle here. There is the semitendinosus and the semimembranosus as well. And these all make up what is collectively known as your hamstring. Very important in running, in particular, jumping, and just walking in general. And then we'll look at the leg, the lower leg. These are the muscles that will move your foot and your toes. For the anterior portion of the front, there is the tibialis anterior. It is anterior and it's next to the tibia. It's this one right here. This is if you find your shin bone and then go right outside to the outside or the lateral aspect of that, it is going to be right there on your tibialis anterior. And then you have the extensor digitorum longus here, and it extends the toes. And then your big toe has a special muscle just for it. It is the extensor hallucis, because the big toe is called the hallux. And so this is the extensor hallucis longus. And then posteriorly, we have everyone's favorite muscle, the calves. And so you have the gastrocnemius. People typically just call it the gastroc, but it's the gastrocnemius, and it has these two big heads here. It is for the plantar flexion of the foot, making the foot go down. So very important in walking and running and jumping. And then behind it, the less popular but very important is the soleus muscle, which you can see is quite big. And this one is plantar flexion, but also posture so keeping you balanced when your foot is, so like say you're trying to stand on one leg and you can feel those little movements happening. The soleus is what is doing the majority of that, keeping everything in line.